Hi, I'm Andrew,
Hi, I'm Colin.
and today we have video for our podcast.
Yeah, very exciting.
Very exciting. So we're gonna be recapping week 10. So to start off, great week in college football. Bama beat LSU, Washington beat USC, Georgia beat Missouri. A lot of great games, a lot of ranked teams, a lot of action.
Yeah, I think it was a good week. A lot of teams we kind of showed. Oklahoma. They're out. That's kind of one big thing we learned. USC, their defense might be the worst in all of college football. So we learned a lot. Alabama's quarterback Milroe, he's showing that he's good, and they might win a New Year's Six game. Could even sneak in the playoffs. That's possible. So today in our show, we're gonna be talking about some of the non-conference games like LSU Alabama and OSU Oklahoma State, plus our top 4 playoff predictions and dark horse teams, as well as the Pac-12 power rankings and our predictions for next week.
Yeah, so I think let's just jump right into it. First, I want to talk about LSU Alabama.
Yeah, that was
classic 28-28 going into the fourth quarter. Yeah. Super high scoring, both very, very powerful offenses. Jalen Milroe, definitely the number one QB for Alabama. Yeah, at the beginning of the year, we had some struggles. There wasn't a clear QB1. A lot of close, especially against Ole Miss. Bama barely beat them. But now Jalen Milroe's clear QB1.
He looks good. I mean, they Jaden Daniels a little bit disappointing.
Sure.
But Milroe looks like a legit QB. It's something that I didn't really see at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
They had a quarterback battle, but he's really went full stride. So I think that it'll be good, and we'll see how Alabama does the rest of the season.
Yeah.
But for LSU, they're kind of done.
Yeah, Bama's back. I'm a bit sad.
Yeah,
I was hoping, especially now that Bama's good in basketball, I was hoping finally I'd get a break from Alabama. Don't have that, but it's okay. I think I want to first I want to talk about Oklahoma State, and then I want to move back to dark horses plus top 4, because Bama's definitely a dark horse, perhaps a contender. Yeah. OSU Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State at home, great atmosphere, rivalry game. It's tough, but OSU's definitely out. Now they're 2 losses, 1 to a barely ranked team.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, Oklahoma State is probably a very underrated team. I mean, they went in there and they beat Oklahoma. I know it's a rivalry game, so in those type of games, anything can happen. But I think it's a very crucial win, and it really kind of turns around the program.
Yeah, and also I think the Oklahoma State running game is excellent.
Oh, yeah.
Ollie Gordon, huge running back, putting up great numbers. And it was a testament to the strength and the willpower of this Oklahoma State team. Came in the season unranked, absolute underdog in this game. Very impressive performance by Oklahoma State. Let's see here. Oh, and then Georgia, Missouri, biggest challenge Georgia's had thus far. Relatively easy schedule. Great defense in Missouri, and there's an interesting statistic. I think it's 11 different Georgia players have caught a touchdown for Georgia. Even though Brock Bowers injured out for the season, Georgia's very, very deep receiving core, very deep offense.
Yeah, I think they're a good team. It's hard because they haven't been blowing out teams like the teams of the past. Last 2 years, Georgia, every single game they won by 40. This year, they're kind of keeping it close, especially in the first half. I think they don't have Stetson Bennett anymore, which is their quarterback play. Not so great. But plus they lost Brock Bowers, which is probably the best weapon. I think he'll be still a top 10 pick in the draft as a tight end, which is extremely rare. But, I don't think that they're going to win this year. But against Missouri, it was a close game. Missouri might be decent.
Yeah. Similar comparison, Dalton Kincaid, former Utah tight end, picked 25th. So perhaps Bowers will be picked somewhere around there.
I think he can go higher. I think probably one of the best tight ends you've seen in a long, long time. Because Bowers been good for 3-4 years even, while Kincaid was kind of all of a sudden he just shot up.
Crazy, yeah, in his senior season. All right, segueing into top 4 predictions plus underdogs. So I think mine would probably be Georgia 1, Ohio State 2, Michigan 3, Oregon 4. Ohio State they've looked good aside from in the beginning of the season. You know they've looked pretty good in every game they've played. No issues there. Unfortunately, I'd have Georgia at the number 1. I same thing with Georgia. Schedules haven't been that tough this year in college football.
Yeah.
Especially if you're unless you're in the Pac-12, because the Conference of Cannibals, everyone's super good.
Ohio State though, against Rutgers. Maryland, they played Rutgers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was 9-6 or 9-7 at halftime.
Yeah.
That was.
But they finished the game 35-16.
Yeah, they covered the spread, but still, you can't have that type of offensive troubles with Kyle McCord.
Yeah.
He's not Justin Fields or C.J. Stroud who they've had the past couple years.
Right.
He might end up playing at Bowling Green next year. I don't think he can last. The offensive line isn't good, but they're a bit questionable. But when you don't have a good quarterback, and he's only throwing for 189 yards against Rutgers. It's not against Michigan. It's against Rutgers.
Right.
So, it's tough.
I mean, to be fair, Rutgers solid defense coming in 6-2 to this game. One of the losses was to Michigan. Somewhat tough of an opponent, but still 189 yards is inexcusable against a team like Rutgers.
Yeah.
And giving up 160 yards on the ground to Monangai. Again, another inexcusable lapse by the Ohio State.
They don't look like number 1 team in the country.
No, that's why. Even though in the CFP they're number 1, I have them at my number 2, but I still don't see definitive proof they should be any lower. Michigan 3.
To be honest, I think Michigan's in a 3-peat against Ohio State. This is why. They have McCarthy. Is his name CJ McCarthy?
Yeah.
Alright. So he's good. He's been there and he looking really good. He's been there the past couple years. He's a legit quarterback.
Right.
That's what sets Ohio State and Michigan apart. Ohio State might have a little bit better defense, but I think Michigan still got a great O-line. They got Corum at running back. He's good. And I think Michigan's going to win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I actually think that's an interesting point. A lot of what we have to go on with Michigan is last year they did lose to TCU in their bowl game. But definitely a quarterback improvement, better accuracy.
Yeah.
I think it's tough to say. The Penn State Michigan game we'll cover that later. That'll help. That'll help us determine how good is Michigan against the quality. Penn State quarterback play not great, but still definitely a quality opponent. We'll see how they do.
I think Florida State. They haven't really played anyone. I mean, they played LSU.
Yeah, but that was in the beginning of the season.
It's too hard to tell.
Yeah.
And the ACC's weak.
ACC's weak. Yeah,
past 5 years.
Barely beat Clemson. At home, but still.
Even when they had that Clemson dynasty, it was Clemson versus everyone else. Clemson won every year, not because they were maybe an awesome
team, but the SEC's so weak.
Conference. You mean the ACC?
ACC. Whoops. Yeah, ACC is so weak.
Yeah, so it's difficult for them.
Right. Oregon, it's personally Oregon's at 4 for me.
Yeah.
Amazing defense. Bo Nix, great quarterback.
Yeah, you see that stat where he's had 50 some college starts. Played at Auburn before.
Yeah, the most of any FBS quarterback.
He's got experience. That's one of the things you look at. The amount of experience he has. He's basically played 5 years, almost. At least 4.
4, 5.
That's experience that a lot of these guys. You look at the top teams right now, Georgia's quarterback and Ohio State's quarterback. Some of the top teams everyone thinks are gonna make it. They barely have 10 games.
Right, and the margins that Oregon wins by astronomical. No one compare. I don't know specifically what the margin is, but it's astronomical. Way more than Washington, for example, in the last 4 or 5 games. They only win by an average of, I think it's a touchdown, maybe a touchdown plus a field goal. And I think, Oregon was just in their game against Washington too aggressive. there were two field goal opportunities. They didn't go for it. Didn't convert. They only lost that game by 3 points. I'm thinking 7 times out of 10 Oregon wins that game against Washington, and they'll have the opportunity to prove themselves in the Pac-12 championship. Excuse my voice crack. But yeah, I like Oregon at the 4, maybe Washington at the 5. And then also I want to talk about some dark horses, Texas, Alabama.
Texas.
What are we thinking?
If Texas wins out, they're in because they're a 1-loss team. Big 12. The Big 12 isn't bad. A lot of teams, especially with the new additions. But I really think if Texas wins out, they're in. They had a tough game against Kansas State, but they did lose their starting quarterback. So I really think that Texas, they have a decent shot to make it.
Yeah. College football kickers. Kansas State kicker. God bless his soul. I do not know his name. Miss from 28, make from 45. Making things interesting. I thought Texas was going to cover the spread against Kansas State. They were up early by 2-3 scores. But unfortunately, 3 or 4 turnovers on Texas side. Couldn't take care of the ball. Kansas State came back. Very gut-wrenching, very close game. But Texas is clearly the better team. Clearly a contender for the college football playoff. And finally, Bama. I think they're 8 in the CFP poll as of Sunday. Definitely could make it in. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think this is what they're gonna have to do. They're going to have to beat Georgia in the championship. In the SEC championship, they will have to beat Georgia. If they can do it, I'd see it hard to have an SEC champion not in the college football playoffs.
Right. Absolutely. And it'll the championship game will also be a testament to Georgia because Alabama, if they do end up playing, which is likely, Georgia's never seen competition at the level of Bama thus far, so that'll be it's I'm thinking it's one team. 2 teams aren't going to make it, so we'll see. But Alabama definitely could make it.
I know this is not in the plan, but who do you think is going to win the Heisman this year?
Who do I think is going to win the Heisman?
One player.
Yeah, so this is interesting because I actually had Penix over Caleb Williams until they met. And Penix put up, I think it was only a few touchdowns, 1 interception, 230 yards. And Caleb Williams put 330 yards, 3 TDs, no picks. So I think Caleb Williams definitely, I would, my issue is his vision is so poor.
You can't win with 3 losses. You can't.
No, you can't. The only thing is, Caleb shouldn't be at fault for the program struggles. I mean, the SC has
doesn't matter. You can't win with 3 losses.
But SC has one of the best offenses in the country, and Caleb Williams can't control the fact that the defense is. I mean, is he a leader? Is he supposed to be a leader? Yeah, but he's not a coach. He's only a leader, and I mean, if your defense is ranked basically 130 out of 133 FBS teams, there's really nothing you can do as a single player to overcome that.
But still, I think that he's been getting unlucky, really unlucky. But at the same time, he won that commercial. The whole entire thing of the commercial was about how he's going to be unlucky. I don't know. It was like a Dr. Pepper.
It was Dr. Pepper Fansville, yeah.
Yeah, it was the whole thing about him being unlucky. He's been really unlucky this year. And I think that, it's tough, but I don't think you can win it.
Right.
With that many losses.
Sure. I would maybe consider Brock Bowers if he's still healthy. He can't. Well, I mean, who do you think? Bo Nix. Yeah. If Oregon wins, Bo Nix is 100% gonna get Heisman.
If Oregon can go make the playoffs, I would say Milroe, but it's just kind of too late. He started
getting good too late.
But it's kind of wide open right now. There is no guy who is gonna walk away with it right now.
Right. And I think it's gonna come down to championships, accolades. Yeah. I think it's gonna come down to who's clutch, who can deliver when it matters most, and we'll see that as the season progresses and finishes. Pac-12 power rankings doesn't look too much different from week 9.
One switch at the 12 spot, but I think obviously number 1 is Oregon.
Yeah.
Yes, they lost to Washington, but I just feel like Washington's shaky defense can only last them so long.
Right, and it was a coaching thing for Oregon. Lapses won't happen like that again.
They killed Cal. I mean, that's
yeah.
that's not great. They did their job. Washington, a good win against USC, but at the same time, they had the running back best night of his life, something like 250 yards.
It was 400 yards in 7 games, and then in one game he put up like 240.
So it was good for them. But USC, still at 3 because they did lose to Washington, but they don't look,
Yeah, they should have won against Utah.
Awesome offense.
Awesome, amazing
defense.
Offense.
Statistically, might be the worst in the country.
Yeah, in the country. And including Group of 5 teams.
They are bad. I mean, there are some FCS defenses better than them.
Yeah. Arizona at the 4, massive win against UCLA. There's no reason to move them anywhere.
I feel like that new freshman, Fida, he's the real deal. I mean, Turner,
despite his size,
talk about turning around the program. I mean, he's like 76% completion percentage. I mean, that's really good. I mean, he's so accurate. 5 Utah, well-balanced team. They won the Pac-12 championship last 2 years, but they're just not. They're not the same.
They've regressed. They lost Kincaid.
Cameron Rising out for the season.
Right.
Which is really unfortunate.
Yeah, especially when it was in like their bowl game, right? Yeah.
They got a good D line, but at the end of the day, Utah is probably number 5.
Yeah, number Oregon 6. State 6. Winning against Washington State early in the season when we all thought Washington State was better than they were. They beat Colorado. I don't really know the margin, but they had a good
DJ Uiagalelei. He's good.
Oh yeah,
he had a really rough time at Clemson. He's a big recruit.
Right, and
rough
then
time at Clemson.
The running game for Oregon State and Martinez, huge. He great elusiveness, great hands. I mean, we can work on the hands, but great speed, great elusiveness, great hesitation, great vision. I would compare him to like a Leonard Fournette type player. Very great on the ground. Very very quick. Can put a solid move on you. Unfortunately, like the hands aren't there, but with most running backs, that's the case.
So at number 7, UCLA. They're not. They lost again. I'm kind of happy about that. I'm a USC fan. So
right, same. Mm-hmm.
It was against Arizona. UCLA. I mean, they were okay. I just think with their quarterback, they've had DTR. He was there for like 6 years.
Yeah, I think it was 5.
5
years.
But he was a starter for 5.
He was a starter for 5.
So I mean, he's been there for pretty much forever. Mm-hmm. So the first year without him, and they're not looking great.
Yeah, defense has been. They brought in a new defensive coordinator.
D-line's awesome. They have the twins. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Very good pass rush, but I just think
the offense just can't compensate for it. It's too bad.
It's not. I mean, it's weird. They have Chip Kelly. He's supposed to do a great offensive mind,
but yeah, when the talent's lacking, there's only so much you can do as a leader, as a coach.
Okay, 8 Washington State. What do you think about them?
Not a whole lot to say. Put up a single touchdown against Stanford. Big improvement against Stanford from losing to Sacramento State to beating Washington State. Big improvement, but not enough to justify Washington being any higher than 8.
I think Washington State, they got Ward. He's good. But they're not the same. I think their program's pretty much over.
Yeah,
if you look at
they're not gonna. They're independent, and Notre Dame can afford to be independent because they're basically in the ACC, and then they have the game against SC and against Navy.
They haven't really put up anything new. I think Oregon State though, talking about I think they're gonna find a home. That's a national, not Mountain West.
Right.
Because they're too good of a team.
Any conference would be totally happy to take them in.
So number 9.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, we need to go quicker. We're gonna go quicker.
Coach Prime.
Coach Prime. Now they're 5 and 4.
It's tough.
Yeah,
he's kind of fallen off. You ever see that picture? 2 weeks, he's got a full beard, and he looks like he's homeless.
Yeah, no more sunglasses. Womp.
So it's tough.
Cal at 10.
They play hard.
Play hard.
Scrappy team, but the talent was no match for Oregon.
Yeah, COVID killed their program.
Yeah.
It's too unfortunate.
So,
Stanford 11.
They're up. They were the worst, but now they're up. They won.
Yeah. Ooh, we're not the worst.
Yeah, but good. And then ASU.
ASU 12. They're 2-7. Get killed by everyone who they play.
That was.
Except for Washington, they were competitive with Washington. I'll give them that.
And us too.
Yeah, and us and USC. That's all.
Yeah,
that's about it.
That was not
good. Predictions for Saturday. Ooh, this is gonna be interesting. USC Oregon. Let me check the spread on USC Oregon. I think I'm gonna be pretty sad because this is the SC's only ticket into the
Pac-12 championship. If they win out, they are in the Pac-12 championship. Crazy, huh? Crazy. They've lost what, like
3 games.
3 games, and they still have a shot. That's it could happen. I don't think it is. It could happen.
It would be like a black swan event. It's possible, but I doubt it's happening.
What's the spread?
Wait, let me. It's probably like 2 touchdowns.
There's upsets at the time though. Air Force lost.
Right, Air Force. It was a bad loss too.
Yeah, the Army's been bad. But things with rivalries and big games like this, anything can happen. If USC just focuses up, if they want to win 1 game this season, this is the game. Mm-hmm. All right? Because this keeps them in the Pac-12 championship. Not only that, it's because it's against Oregon, completely changes everything.
Right. Oregon's favored by 4.5. Shocker.
Wow.
FBI? Huh?
Can you look at the FBI? Oh, you can just search. Click on ESPN.
What's that?
Because that's always wrong. For USC's way too. But I heard USC had a 23% chance to win before the Washington game. I don't know if it's any higher. Just click on it.
16.7%. Yeah, 16.7%. But also they're but Oregon's favored by -4.5. Doesn't really make sense. Oregon's almost certainly gonna win that game and win it by a large margin, as they do in most games they play. Michigan, Penn State.
Ooh.
This is gonna be interesting. Michigan's gonna win, but this is gonna be the best team they've played, so it'll be interesting.
I kind of think Penn State has a shot. The good defense, the new
bad quarterback.
Yeah, but where is it? Where is it?
I think it's. Let me check. I think it's at Penn State. Don't quote me.
They get.
But that's a tough away game.
Have you seen Penn State a whiteout?
Whiteout.
Crazy.
No, that's a tough.
The home field advantage is.
It is it's at Penn State.
The home field advantage at Penn State
is massive.
Crazy. Like they get because they're in Happy Valley. That's all they do is watch Penn State football.
There's nothing else to do there.
They go absolutely crazy. I went to the Rose Bowl. The Rose Bowl a long time ago.
SC Penn State.
Darnold, SC Penn State.
SC barely won.
They travel so well.
Right.
And they're all
atmosphere is amazing.
It's amazing, yeah. Even an away game, 2,000 miles across the country away from the game, they're traveling. So think about a home game against Michigan, top 3 team in the nation.
Yeah, Michigan's no unranked. Like FCS program. They're number 3 CF people. The home field advantage is gonna be massive for Penn State.
Right.
Washington.
Ooh. Utah kind of kills teams that have really good offenses and really bad defenses, and I think Washington falls exactly into that category.
Right.
So, we'll see.
We'll see. Utah very hit or miss. We'll lose by massive and win by massive.
I think it's the quarterback. If they had Cameron Rising, I would say Utah's gonna just kill him.
Mm-hmm. But it'll be close.
Washington will probably pull it out, but I don't know. We'll see.
Tennessee, Missouri. This is an interesting game. I haven't really been keeping track of Tennessee's performance, but
they've been decent.
Right.
Good team. Missouri's a good team too.
I mean, I'm gonna go with Missouri taking this. I think Georgia's a really strong team, and Missouri was they only lost by 9 to perhaps the best team in the country. So I think Missouri wins this comfortably, but still a good game. Tennessee was very very strong against Alabama. A great receiving core on the Tennessee side.
All right, who's next?
Washington. Oh, and then some more Pac-12. Washington State, Cal.
Well, that's a good game.
That's a good game. I'm gonna go with Cal.
Washington State, they throw a lot.
Mm-hmm. So sometimes they only put up 7 points to Stanford.
Ward, but Cal, they play with so much heart. I think they're gonna win.
Yeah, as long as Washington State doesn't turn over the ball, that was big issue against Stanford. I think they have a shot.
Ole Miss, Georgia.
Ole Miss, Georgia.
Georgia finally plays a top 10 team for once. It's gonna be tough. It's Ole Miss. Lane Kiffin. He's got some schemes. Jackson
Dart, former USC quarterback.
He's good.
He's good. He's improved.
So we'll see. We'll see.
I think Georgia wins this, but this is. Let me see who's at home. It's an at-home Georgia game, so it's a tough road. I'm gonna say Georgia will win, but it'll be close. It'll be out close. It'll be very competitive, very fun to watch. So, ASU, UCLA. UCLA.
Yeah, ASU.
There's not a whole lot to talk about here.
A little bit of a mess.
Yeah, and U of A, Colorado. U of A,
Arizona. Yeah, I think Deion, his ship's kind of sailed.
His ship's kind of sailed. No one cares. He's definitely finishing the season.
Especially with the new rule about the transfers, he's really screwed. But I think that apparently Shedeur wants to stay an extra year because he doesn't want to be drafted in the third round.
Right. I think that's right. I mean, unless he's hoping he can get drafted to a good organization.
Yeah. So
he'd pick Slater.
We'll see. Well, that's the end of our show.
Yeah, that's the end of our show. Thank you guys for watching. See you next time.